Welcome to day 12 of our book, The Absolute Law of Karma, written by our Param Pujya Gurudev Pandit Shri Ram Sharma Acharya. Today we begin with the topic of physical sufferings. Earlier we covered mental sufferings, which were the Daihik Dukhs, which were 100% under our control. And now we will come to Daihik Dukhs. Deh means the body, Daihik means anything pertaining to the body, which means the physical sufferings. The cause of congenital deficiencies and genetic diseases is misutilization of the corresponding organs in the previous life cycles. After death, the soul discards the physical body but carries forward the astral body or the 𝗢𝗂𝐴 or the thought body or the energy body to the next life. In the succeeding birth, the new body is shaped by this astral body. The astral body carries with it the nuclei or the seeds of the sanskars of earlier physical existence to the next reincarnation. Here Gurudev is trying to explain us that how it is only our energy body, the vibration of the thoughts that we think on an everyday basis, our 𝗢𝗂𝐴 is made up of those thoughts, and that is what is carried forward into the next reincarnation, and that eventually becomes the reason of congenital deficiencies or other genetic diseases that are arising from misutilization of certain or corresponding organs. Let's read further. The corresponding components of physical organs which are immorally used in the previous life lose their vitality in the astral body but manifest as malfunctioning of those organs in the physical body of the next birth. Thus, it is possible for a sexually indulgent person to be born with congenital impotence or with imperfections in his or her sexual organs in the next life. A note here that Roman Catholic Church defines indulgence as a partial remission of the temporal punishment that is still due for sin after absolution, giving exemplary punishment for overindulgence in this manner. The divine justice also provides the being an excellent opportunity for self-upliftment. The temporary period of non-function or malfunctions of the affected faculty serves the purpose of caution as well as rejuvenation for the next life. That is to say, whichever organ of the body is recklessly misused for sensual gratification is deemed to be engaged in a physical sin. In the next life, that organ is either found missing or appears as a congenital defect. Thus, congenital physical deformities or diseases are for remission of sins. Here Gurudev tries to explain us that if we overuse or recklessly misuse any organ of the body for absolute sensual gratification, which is short-lived, which is temporary, which is mortal, then we lose the vitality, the pranic shakti or the functioning of that chakra or whatever organ, whatever chakra of energy that organ corresponds to will lose its vitality, and therefore in the next birth it comes out as congenital diseases or malfunctions or non-function, and that is a period of caution or a period of remission or rejuvenation for the being to understand that why this has happened or what can be done to make sure we increase the vitality of that organ or that energy chakra for next life. And the example that has been mentioned here is of sexual gratification, wherein Gurudev explains that if there is a misuse of the genital organs, one might be born impotent in the next life. And this compulsive rest rejuvenates the organ of the body and also relieves the burden of sin from the mind through repentance. When a mental sin is intermixed with a physical sin and it has not been neutralized in the present life by punishment by the state, society, or by atonement, it is carried over to the next life. However, if the sin is basically physical with little or no input of mental sin, that is, no input of deliberate bad intention, then the biological system immediately takes care of it. For instance, man gets intoxicated and deranged on taking drugs, falls sick because of dietary irregularities, or dies on consuming the poison. This is a physical punishment for a physical sin. The body cleans itself of the small physical sins speedily, and these are neutralized in this very life. On the other hand, as mentioned earlier, serious physical vices, which are also associated with mental stimuli, are carried over by the astral body or the thought body for being worked out in next life. Now here Gurudev explains us that if you are doing any unwise act physically, like consuming a poison or taking too much drugs or taking too much alcohol, then immediately your biological system will take over and punish you, probably in this very life, by cutting it short, because the physical system will fall apart due to overdosage. But when a physical sin is mixed with mental stimuli like excessive gratification of the senses, as example again, extreme acts of sexual gratifications, so then this is definitely carried over to the next life, because this leaves an imprint in your energy body, in your bioenergy that you are carrying, in your thoughts, in your astral body, and will definitely be taken into consideration for next life. Now, why has the sexual overuse example has been taken again and again? It is because when there is sexual interaction or intimacy, it involves your entire biochemical energy, that is the thoughts, the emotions, and of course the physical body. And the amount of residual memory that is created in our system, in all our three bodies, in our physical body, in our mental body, and in our emotional body, is very big and complex. That is why people who have multiple sex partners or who indulge a lot in sexual activities are always having a very complex sense of confusion at the mental and emotional level, because coming in contact with someone else's aura, someone else's biochemical energy, and picking up an enormous amount of memory from that source, unconsciously, it becomes very difficult to clean your aura and stay and have a cleansed and high vibrational aura at all three levels in your body, in your conscious existence. It also emphasizes that because of such overindulgence in sensual gratification, there is no sense of any real joy in such people, because whenever they want a high in their life or whenever they are low, they run to such distractions, and hence it is very clearly visible around such people that there is always a sense of shallowness, that is, neither they cannot connect deeply with someone very easily, or they do not have open hearts in terms of forming deep connections. There is always neither deep smiles nor deep crying, or there will always be a sense of restlessness of some sort, or being always in the limelight, or always having some sort of attention on themselves from another person, always some sort of expectation in that sense. And when I say real joy, is evading them, that means the real joy of the soul consciousness, the Sat Chit Ananda that we have discussed earlier. It also becomes imperative to add here that multiple physically intimate relationships leave body memory and hence memory and impressions on your subconsciousness that are definitely carried over in another life. And therefore there is also almost always a sense of lack of clarity as well, which this practice often brings in itself. So we end here for today. Thank you for listening in, everyone. Pranam to all.
हमारे YouTube चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और बेल आइकन पर क्लिक कीजिए ताकि आने वाली सभी वीडियो की नोटिफिकेशन आपको मिलती रहे। आप सभी को बहुत बहुत थैंक यू।